Welcome to Let's Talk About Health, powered by Focus on Diabetes. Focus on Diabetes partners with accredited doctors to share education and new treatment options, world class healthcare organizations to introduce new technologies and free screenings for diabetic patients, their family, and the community. Now, let's talk about health.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Talk About Health. I'm Tiffy, of course. Today we are going to have Chiquita Loveless. Pretty sure I'm pronouncing this right. She's formerly from Chicago, Illinois. She holds a BA in Business Administration from Georgia College and a master's in Business Administration from St. Leo University. Everybody, let's welcome Chiquita to the chat.
Hi, thank you for having me this evening.
Hey, Chiquita, I didn't go quite through the whole bio, so why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Well, I have a bachelor's, as you say, from Georgia Gwinnett College and a master's in business from St. Leo University. I'm a 23-year Navy veteran, and I've served just about all over the world, and I'm happy to be here. I serve as the dean for military programming at the University of Northern Iowa, and I've been in that role for 8 years. During that time, I also served as the executive director for diversity, inclusion, and social justice. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay. How is it with the military background? How long did you
How
serve again?
23 years almost.
Thank you for your service.
So thank you for supporting us.
Um, so are you from Chicago?
I am
Or
from Chicago, Illinois. I'm a native of Chicago. Yes, I am.
and what brought you to Iowa?
My husband is our county VA director, Yolando Loveless, and he's a East High Trojan.
Oh,
So
okay.
he grew up here.
All right. Do you guys have any kids or
Yes, we have a daughter. She's ultrasound tech, and she's married to an
nice?
Air Force sergeant, and we have three grandkids.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your military training, that background.
Well, I was a communications officer. I retired as a communications officer. In the enlisted ranks, I was what we called at the time a radioman, and that's the person that does the communications and work behind the top secret door,
Ooh,
and make sure the messages and information on ships and at shore stations are relayed to the appropriate senior leadership. I served two tours with the Naval Special Warfare, and that was with SEAL Teams 1, 3, and 5. I deployed with them, and it's also with Special Boat Units. I was on two aircraft carriers and an amphibious ship that carried Marines.
oh
And most
wow.
of my tours, I was the only female, the first female, or the first Black female.
Oh wow. So where all have you been serving?
Oh,
Um
I've been all over the world. I've been most of my tours were on the West Coast. So my husband and I married in the Philippines and we lived there for 3 years and from there we lived 3 years in Hawaii. But the ships take you everywhere. I've been to Dubai, I've been to
nice.
Australia, I've been to Singapore. Just Fiji Island is the best place in the world. My favorite place. Been to Hong Kong, been to Italy, been to Portugal, Azores, you name it. I've just about
Dang,
been there.
I should have went to the military. I should have went to the military. What about the physical training when it came to military? How
Oh,
hard
it
is it? Is it hard
wasn't.
or is it
It's mind over matter, and like we learn in there, no pain, no gain. Yeah, it hurts sometimes, but it's always worth it. One of the things about me, I played volleyball, and I was all city for Chicago in on during my tenure, and then for the Navy. I played all Navy volleyball, where we played against the different armed forces, and I got to try out for the Olympics. I made the national team.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
yeah, so I've always just about been in shape. I'm a little older now, so I'm moving slower. So
You still
yes.
got it. You still got it. You still got it. Because I think that was like one of the only things that kind of scared me when it came to military. I'm like, don't think I could do that.
But when you're around and everyone else is doing the same thing, you lift one another up.
Sorry, my son walking in, and he always usually
Yeah.
runs out. Um. Okay. Sorry about that. Um. Also, everyone, feel free to ask questions. If you have any questions for Shaquita. Am I pronouncing that
Chiquita,
right? Chiquita.
Chiquita,
Chiquita. Okay.
Chiquita, like Chiquita banana.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Um. So tell us a little bit more. Do you have a you've been diagnosed with diabetes? Is that right? Or
Yes, I have. You all have to pardon me. My clock is in the background, so I apologize. Um, yes, I am. I am a type 1 diabetic
okay.
as we speak. For the I want to say 3 years ago, my blood sugar, it started spiking, and I went up over the threshold of 6.4, then
Oh
to
wow.
7.0, and then on up. And so for a year and a half, I go to the VA for my medical treatments. And so the VA was trying to figure out how to keep my numbers down. And I just was averaging 300, 350, on a good day, maybe 270. And we went through that for a whole year. They tried the different medicines, metformin, Jardians, all of those different things. I want to say I was 181 pounds at the time. And,
Oh.
uh, and then I was put on Ozempic, and I went down to 161, and I was very thin and concerned. And, that around that time, my, my doctor said, we need to send you to the endocrinologist. And, and that's when I found that I was type 1 after some additional blood testing. And learn only to learn that type 1 is usually you usually get it when you're a child. And so
Right.
to be at my age, 3 years ago, roughly 59, 60, to learn that you're type 1 diabetic. And so had to learn how to eat differently and take insulin.
Okay.
I'm currently take Majaro once a week to help with my weight, and also protect my kidneys and things of that nature, and help me prevent me from
Mhm.
attaining a stroke or a heart attack. So that, and then I take the Novolog. I think a lot of people color on Novolog for short acting. You take it right before you eat, and then I take a Abastatin, and that's the long acting that you take once a day to keep
Oh.
ensure that you have some insulin in your system. So yes, it's been a lifestyle change, but I think the worst part for me was having to learn how to give myself injections.
Oh. So how is that going now with because you said you're still on your Novolog and you do the weekly Manjaro now.
hmm
And
My
you have a short acting and long acting insulin, right?
Yes, I take them when I eat. I've learned how to manage it, and how much my insulin is. Working with my endocrinologist, I see the endocrinologist every 3 months at the VA, and so we work together quite well, and we have a really good relationship where you know um, she wanted me to. Well, I still have it, but I'm just not using it at the time. What is the other one? It's a Omnipod.
Oh,
So
okay,
that's
okay.
a type of that's a one type of equipment that's used. And it broke my skin out, and
Oh.
so I went
Are
back to
you
the
st-
injection.
the is it the Omnipod? Is that the sensor? Because
No,
are
the
you
Dexcom is the sensor. You either
use
have a
Dexcom?
Dexcom. Yeah, I have
Right.
a Dexcom. And so
Okay.
that was one of the other shortfalls, having to prick my fingers when we first started. And I told the doctor, I can't do that. I tried, and that is not for the weak. And so yeah, so I've been on Dexcom since, and I started on the 6 and now I have Dexcom 7, and I'm really pleased with it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any family history of any diabetes?
Now here's the thing, and I want to share this evening. Sometimes I speak to young people, and I speak to young ladies in particular. We have to be careful of who we have relationships with. I don't know my dad, and no one in my family has diabetes but me.
Okay.
But I do remember a conversation when my mother was speaking of my father's mother, and my mother said she had the sugar real bad. So
Oh
this
yeah,
is a
they
long
did.
time
Oh,
ago.
they used to
And
say
so,
that the
yes.
sugars.
And so it had to come from there. But I have 4 siblings, and no one has diabetes but me. And
Oh,
so that's when I say we have to be careful who we're connecting with. It's very important when you go to the doctor, and you should be able on both sides, your maternal and paternal side, to um, indicate what chronic illnesses are
right.
from each side of the family. And sometimes we don't have that because we're so busy doing too much. I'll say it like that. And
Yeah.
not looking into the future as to, what decisions, how are these decisions going to affect my child or me in the future.
Right. So with you said with your one daughter, are you kind of having her or teaching her, kind of watch out for different things like that too with her health?
Yes, and she's aware of it, and she stays on me. Like I say, she's an ultrasound tech, so she's in the hospital. She works in the hospital, and so she has educated herself on it once we realized that I was type 1. And
Okay.
and you couldn't come off of it because that was the first thing, especially serving in the military. How do I get off of this? I don't want to do this for a long time, only to find out that it's a lifelong thing, and
Right.
you must learn to control it.
So do you think if this had been found when you were serving in the military, that would have brought up any issues
I
then?
think it would have. I probably would have come out seriously on a medical discharge because well, another thing, being in the military is we're deploying, with the SEALs. We're in different countries. We don't eat properly. We don't eat at a certain time. We put something in there to keep us going. And so you don't have time when you're preparing to fight the enemy. Like, for example, for me, I went through prisoner of war school. And so out in the field like that, there was no time if it had occurred for me to say time out, I need to take my insulin.
Right.
No, the military would have said, no, we got to send you home. We love you, but you got to go.
All right. No desk job, desk duty.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Medical. Uh-huh.
Man. Um, how has it been diagnosed with diabetes? How has that changed your life?
Well, I have to be a little bit more cautious of what I eat. Like I say, you just can't put anything in there. I look back, and I was an athlete. I was running 10 miles a day, and I was in shape, and eating chili cheese fries or something like that. You can't do that anymore. So you have to manage what you eat, and you have to try to eat a little healthier.
Oh,
My problem is, I would say one of the things that I deal with now is I'm not a big breakfast eater, so I have to force myself to eat breakfast. And
see.
so I'm still in the training process.
Okay. I can understand that because I'm not a big breakfast eater either. What about do carbs or anything do you have to watch any of that now?
Yes, you have to manage your carbs, and your carbs coincide with your insulin shot, with the intake of your insulin. So you have to know how many carbs, and then there's other apps that most of us have phones.
Mhm.
Other apps, like there's one called Calorie King, and it'll tell you how many carbs you can just pull it up, you download it and pull up Calorie King. And even at a restaurant, it can tell you how many carbs is your meal will be. And then you'll know how to compensate your insulin for that
Oh, that's nice.
to try to keep your insulin in check.
Okay. Has it affected your family a lot since being diagnosed?
No, no.
So they all
We
get to
go to
still
a
eat.
restaurant, yeah, if we go to a restaurant, I either do my shot before my injection before I go in the restaurant, or I excuse myself and go in the restroom and take my shot, and then we just keep it moving.
Okay. Now, for your insulin, are you doing 3 times a day?
Yes, I do 3 times a day, every meal.
Okay.
Mhm.
Are you injecting or do you have a pump?
No, the Omnipod is the pump. That's the one that broke me out. But I
Okay.
have so I do my own injections. I kind of like that a little bit better.
Oh, they never even tried to say, okay, Omnipod, maybe we'll try a different type of
No,
insulin
they
pump.
called me back, and I had bruised up on my arm, and I really wasn't feeling it. And you know, it's the cosmetic piece of it as well, because it's so thick. It protrudes out, and so you know,
Well, maybe as we keep going and more technology, they might make them a little thin or,
I'm hoping
you
they
know.
do, and for more days. One of the things with it, one of the benefits is if you use it, you don't have to change it out. Change your insulin out but every 2 to 3 days. And so
Oh,
that
well,
was
that's
a
not bad.
benefit. So yeah, and you just manage it on your phone and tell your phone how much to give you, if you get a little high. So it is really good, a good piece of equipment and technology. But I just prefer to do the injections now.
Okay.
I'll eventually transition back to it, but just not right now.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
And
an on-the-go person, so yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
With the holidays coming up, does that affect any, family meals and how are you gonna if you have to do anything differently?
I would say if I was younger, probably yes. I'm not a big mac and cheese eater. That's a huge carb killer.
Of
um,
course.
and all the desserts. I'm not a big dessert eater. I think
Really?
no, I think once, a true diabetic, once you realize what you want for yourself and in life, you learn that some things it's okay, or either have a little slither of it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Definitely a lifestyle change then,
Yes,
right?
it's a lifestyle change. Yes.
We had a question looking back. Was there any signs that you may have not noticed or overlooked
I
leading to or
remember,
before?
I remember waking up a few nights, and I remember one night I woke up, one morning I woke up and I was just sweating. I think my blood sugar, now that I know what I know now, I think
Mhm.
my blood sugar had probably dropped and it was really low, and I was just sweating, and I just didn't feel right. And I thought it was my blood pressure, and I didn't know I was diabetic at the time. And it happened a few times, and then now, if I knew then, I would have went to the doctor, because I could have stroked out or something and didn't
Oh,
realize that I was having that issue. But yeah, it was very scary. I remember waking up and I was like, I don't want to die. I do remember that.
okay. Wow. That is something serious there.
Yeah, yeah, because when your blood sugar drop, and that's another thing, you have to be careful taking insulin, not to take too much, because it'll cause, it's trying to compensate and keep you on a even keel and average, but sometimes your blood sugar drop. And when your blood sugar drop, that's not a good thing either. So if your blood sugar is too high, that's not good. And if it's too low, that's not good.
Okay. We had another question as far as eating healthier and healthier meals. What would you do you have any suggestions or what would you suggest when it comes to healthier
Um,
meals?
One of the things in the morning, I'm not a big yogurt eater. I purchase it. I really like blueberry and cottage cheese, and for lunch, like you have to really look at what you're going to eat, and for dinner. and know how to measure your insulin.
Okay. Man, is yogurt a good one when it
Yogurt
comes to
is
that?
it's good, but if you really look at it, you get the flavored yogurt, and then there's sugar in that flavored yogurt. So if you're not eating the true Greek yogurt, then and that's bland. So
Right. The Greek yogurt is just
yeah,
it's a
it's
different. You really
bland.
gotta like
So
it.
that's right. So I choose cottage cheese. Have cottage cheese and put some blueberries on the side, maybe raspberries when I feel like it. And then you also have to be careful of fruit. We always say
Right.
fruit is so healthy, but fruit has natural sugars in it, so you have to be mindful of that. Another thing, for those that like libations, you must be careful with your drinking intake when you're out drinking. Um, that's I talked to the doctor about that, and she was like, the best alcohol to drink if you do drink libations would be vodka. You know,
Man, I
margarita.
thought for sure you was gonna
Yeah,
say tequila.
no, she told me
Tequila
vodka.
is the best.
Yeah, but see, she told me stay away from margaritas, which is made with what?
That
Yeah.
sugar, that juice, all what the
And what
it
else?
could just
What's the
be
alcohol, Tiff? What's the alcohol in margarita?
agave.
Yep. Tequila. So yeah. So you have to be careful with those things of that nature. A glass of wine, you know, I was in the Navy, so I try to be transparent and forthright. Yeah, I drink. I drink a lot. Not like super, super a lot, but when you want to drink, you have a drink. But you have to be mindful and be careful when you're diabetic. If you have a glass of red wine, then you got to know that that's it. That's it.
Just
It's
one
not
glass.
keep taking it in. Because if you have a Dexcom like I do, that thing gonna say hi, and when it say hi, you don't know what your sugar numbers are.
Okay. What is your favorite vegetable to add to your meal?
I think a lot of us love this, but my favorite is green beans. I love green beans.
Because there's so many different ways you can make them.
I love green beans. I love collard green. I love greens too. I
Me
love
too.
all vegetables. I
So I don't
think I
like them
could truly
all.
look, I truly can become a vegetarian, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I've been all over the world, so people cook things differently. Yeah.
So you probably tried everything.
A little bit of everything I have.
Man.
I have. And yeah. But I'm not a fan of Thai food. So, and that's a lot of noodles, so that's carbs, but I'm not a
Yeah.
fan of Thai food.
What about the spices?
I'm not a fan of spices either. So,
Okay.
yeah, I just like a good meal, Salmon, I don't it's okay, but it's not like a go-to like having a piece of fish, you
Hmm.
know. But salmon is, yeah, I'm working on it because it's good for you, and then you have the omega oils and what have you.
What about supplements?
Supplements. I don't take too many. I whatever I take my vitamins and I do take vitamin D because that's most people of color. We are deficient in vitamin D, so I take that.
Say that one
And
more time because we
yeah,
really, they don't
we
believe
are.
it.
And people need to believe it because it brings depression on and things of that nature. So you have to be in anxiety. So if you can tell when you're vitamin D deficient. And also I take a very low dose of blood pressure medicine. And
Okay.
that was because something to protect. I think that was a piece to protect my kidneys or something because of my diabetes.
Okay. There was a question when going to others' houses. Do you take your own food, or are people kind of mindful, or just kind of like more picking and choosing?
When I go to someone's house, I'm just still the same. I just tell them I don't care for it, or I share. I'm diabetic. I'm diabetic, and I can't, or I have diabetes. I can't eat that, and so it looks really good, but I can't have that.
Okay, man, that's pretty much
Mm-hmm.
understandable.
Yeah,
Because I know like my granny is diabetic. She used to always keep her peppermint candies and that
I
other
do.
candy
In
in
my
her
purse,
bag
I do.
all the
Yes,
time.
yes,
So do
I
you
do. I
keep any
keep something.
stashes anywhere besides your purse? Like, oh, I'm gonna stash some here in this drawer just in case, sir.
I keep the smaller bottles of orange juice on the side of my bed at night in case my sugar drops. And and one of my favorites is I love popcorn.
Is
I
popcorn a
love it.
good one to have? I
It's
didn't know
not
that.
good. It's not good. That's
Oh,
my guilty pleasure.
I was like,
But I
dang,
love
popcorn would be a good one then.
no, that but popcorn is carbs, and you have to be careful. So, and then you have to watch the salt intake on it too. But yeah, I keep orange juice and I keep a few pieces of candy. But the VA is so good now that they take care of us veterans a lot better. I have something called glucose, and it's like huge sweet tarts. And
Oh,
so when my sugar drops, I'm able to take four of those, and it tastes like a big old sweet tart, but it's
okay.
it's big and round. Yeah,
Do you have to chew them or
yeah, it's like a
okay?
sweet tart, like the
Okay,
little
okay.
Smarties, but it's like a Smartie on steroids.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
And there was a question, if you could talk more about signs when you have a low blood sugar, when you have low blood sugars at night.
When you have low blood sugars at night, for me, that's those sweats. You start sweating, and then your body on the inside gets real jittery and weak feeling. And you have to be careful. If you are using a sensor, you need to manage those numbers because, like my sensor, let me know it 70 is my threshold. And then once it go under that, it'll just start blinging and going out. But if you get down to the 50s and 40s, that's not good. So
Oh.
you can just fall out. Yeah. So you
Does
have to be
yours
careful.
ever do they interrupt like if you're sleeping or just kind of
Oh yeah, the
just
sound off.
yeah,
Like a little
just out of
bell.
nowhere?
Yep. And then it seems like the lower it gets, the louder it gets. Like, hurry up, you need to take action. And then, when it gets too low, it'll say urgent.
So how does that work in the middle of the night?
You have to get up and and drink some orange juice or get some kind of sugar in you. Yes.
With
Yes.
taking with
Or
taking your
take those
munch,
glucose tablets. Uh-huh.
so you keep your orange juice and your
And
glucose
I keep them
tablets.
tablets there. And I have a little candy there.
Okay,
Yeah. By
because
my
I'm
bed.
like I don't even
Yeah.
want to move.
Uh-huh. Because you want something that's gonna be quick acting.
Okay, man. Um, we since you are on, how long have you been on Manjaro?
About 9 months, I want to say.
9 months. And with taking that, do you notice if it drops your blood sugars or affects your blood sugars within the first few days after you take it?
I know it makes me not as hungry, but no, I won't say I would say it doesn't really affect my blood sugars much.
Okay.
And see, I really can't say because when I take the injection, then I do my long acting and short acting.
Got
Monday is Sunday, so you do it once a week. But
right.
I usually do it at dinner on Sunday. So then I'm giving myself my long acting to make it for my 24 hours, and then my short acting. So yeah, sometime my sugar will drop. It'll go lower.
Okay. Any side effects with the Manjaro since being on it?
I haven't noticed any. I will say, I shared earlier that I was like 180 and I went down to 160. When I came off of the Ozempic, when the doctors were trying to figure out what was going on, I was off Ozempic for a whole month, and then I went down to a size 6 from 14, size 14.
From
But
being
then
on
that one
Ozempic?
month, yes, I went down to a size 6, and then once they took me off, I was off of it for, I want to say a little bit, maybe 5 weeks. And I went all the way back up to a 14. So anyone that's listening and are using the GLP shots or injections, you're
Hmm.
gonna gain that weight back.
So would you?
You
I
have to keep
because they
using it.
they say safe to say once you own it, you own it.
You own it. That's the real. That's for real. For real.
So
F
it's
R
not like,
F
oh,
R.
I'll
Yeah.
take this for so long and then maybe I can stop it.
Hmm.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the truth.
And how much of a difference have you known or noticed with the Manjaro when it comes to weight?
I would say the difference is Ozempic, I lost weight, but with Majaro, my weight is consistent.
Okay.
It's consistent. And
And they
I
kind of
went
want
up
you to be
3 different
consistent or
doses. Yeah, I'm at the size I want to be. I'm at a 12, 10, 12. So I'm okay right there.
and with the doses, so because they start you out with a lower dose and
The
then you
lower
kind of
dose,
bump
and
up.
then increase it, So I'm at my max dose, and I'm okay. I'm okay
Okay.
with it.
Not
My thing is,
noticing
I need
any.
to get back in the gym and exercise, and I haven't been doing that. And a lot of us don't.
Oh, I want the magic shot. I want the
Mm.
magic pill.
You still, but and folks don't think about that. You get the magic pill, the magic shot, but you still want your body tone. You
Right.
want to look good in your clothes and things of that nature. You
True.
know, and I'm older, so my metabolism is not like it was when I used to run 10 miles and
Mm.
play all Navy volleyball.
There's a question with being on the Manjaro, or even when you were on the Ozempic. Did you notice any muscle fatigue,
I did not.
any
I did.
muscle loss?
I would say on with the Ozempic because I was so thin, going from a 14 to a 6, my legs and everything, yeah, it was scary. And some of my church members were like, you whatever you're doing, you need to stop. It was that scary. And I look at some pictures now and it's like my neck and everything was just so thin. So yes. So you have to be careful with what you're taking, your intake.
Because some people they be like, I know I'm. Well, I'm glad some people are okay with taking the honesty because everybody
Mhm.
not.
Yeah. So yeah, and those you have to be careful as well because some of them paralyze your intestines and stuff. You
Oh,
can you can
have you noticed any
encounter.
problems when it comes to more gastro um effects at all from being on the GLP-1?
I think a few times I did, but it was on me because I wasn't drinking enough water. You must drink water. Even
Okay.
just being a diabetic, you should be drinking water.
How much water would you
Mhm.
say would be
You
a good intake
actually you're supposed to drink half of your body in ounces,
Oh,
your
Jesus.
body weight.
A
So
day?
that's a lot of water for some.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's a
if I was
huge
one
water intake.
180 pounds, I should be drinking 90 ounces a day. That's a lot of water. But just think, the toxins is removed and all those things.
Man. And but then going to the bathroom all throughout the
Yeah,
day
yes,
quite a
that's
bit.
that's the other part of that. But you every time you go, remember you're flushing out fat.
Oh.
Hmm.
Um, there's a question. What advice would you give a new diabetic?
To not get discouraged, read up and educate yourself on what you're putting in your body. No, I'm not saying anything negative, but your doctor's going to tell you what they need because they are the professionals and they have the experience. But you need to know, especially when you're type 1, because it's a lifelong lifestyle change.
Mhm.
Um, Type 2 diabetics, you can reverse that, but you have to be obedient and you have to have discipline if you want to make the positive changes. But those are some of the things that I would definitely recommend. Do not be discouraged. That's the main thing because now it's like you have an ailment.
Okay. How important, if you can talk a little bit about how important it is to follow up with your doctor or your provider?
That's very important. How are you going to truly have your questions answered or if you're having symptoms and you're not corresponding with your doctor, how are you going to get those questions answered, or sharing the feeling, how your body's feeling, or and some days I'm truly fatigued,
Hmm.
but my blood sugar is kind of a little high too. So
Have you ever had any instances? I guess I'm going to say when you were first diagnosed, um, going to your providers, asking the questions that you wanted to ask and the answers that you needed from your provider.
no, I never had a problem with that, because again, this is my body, and a lot of doctors, when I go see them for different things, they're like, you up on it, because I read up on it, and I want to know what's going on with my body. I have 3 grandkids. The oldest is 5.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
want to
nice.
see them graduate and get married one day, so I got to take care of myself. You
Okay,
know, yeah.
that's good.
Hmm.
Any myths about diabetes that you have found not to be true?
That's a good question. I really haven't thought about that. Um, I would say a perception is that we can't do what everybody else does, and we can.
Hmm,
It's called being
really?
control, being in control. Yep.
Okay. Man, somebody would really say that. Maybe that just when it comes to food and what you
Okay.
can and can't have. Some people be like, "Oh, you can have this, but I can have that." Okay, all right. Let's see. VA. Any issues when it came to coverage for your medications?
No, I'm retired Navy, so I get health care for the rest of my life
Okay.
through the VA. And I work at UNI, so I have an alternate health care plan as well.
Okay. So that's
So,
good.
so I'm covered. I would just you had asked that question. I'm still thinking about that. I would also share, please try to keep your blood sugar in control as best you can to a new diabetic.
Okay. When you were first diagnosed, did you have any worries or scares when it came to your blood sugars and how you eat, lifestyle, and everything in the beginning?
No, I just had to read up on it, but I tell you what, I was in denial. I was like,
That's
who
not-
am I? I used to run 10 miles. I used to be with the SEALs and doing all this GI Jane type of stuff. And now I had that type one. I'm diabetic. Come on, really?
Wow. Okay.
But it's like once you cross that line, it's a challenge to get back. But those again, that's type 2 diabetic. You can get back if you want. Study, talk to your doctor. You can come up off of that medicine. But type 1, we have to use it so that everything will flow right, our insulin, so that we can break down the food that we take in, or for our food intake.
Okay. No hospital scares or ER visits.
None yet.
We're gonna
I'm gonna
say
say
we're not
yet
gonna
because
not
I'm
gonna
getting
have any
older,
either.
and we ain't gonna claim it because I be trying really hard. But
So,
I
but it
get,
sounds like you're doing a good job, though.
yeah. But also we didn't talk about this piece with diabetes. You have to manage your hypertension as well, because it'll take it all the way out of whack.
Does that get a little scary if it's too high or too low when it comes
Oh
to
yeah. Uh-huh. I notice my if my blood pressure is a little high, my numbers are high.
Mhm. And do you have to compensate with insulin or just kind of ride it out or
Well, I have to watch what I eat
yeah,
seriously then, because we talked about that popcorn that I love, right?
right.
So you got the carb piece with the insulin, and then you got the salt piece with the hypertension.
Okay. So do you use any replacements instead of salt?
No, I'm talking to, when we buy those bags and pop them in the microwave.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
like when you doing the cooking, because sometimes they're like, oh well, instead of me using salt, I'll use Mrs. Dash, or instead of me
Well,
using certain seasonings, I'll go to
mhm.
spices instead.
Yeah, it's only popcorn that that's in the bag, but I don't use any salt when I cook. I use garlic powder, onion powder, and
Uh,
everything that says no salt, Miss Dash, that type of thing.
Okay, that's see, we have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Mrs. Dash.
Yeah. Yes, Miss Dash. And I use the Creole seasoning, but it has no salt. I buy the one with no salt.
Okay, pretty soon everything will be hardly any salt.
I know it's not good for you.
'Cause a lot of stuff is getting kind of bland. We have to add.
And then
Well,
you got
usually
to look at all
when I
the
go eat, I have to.
okay, but
Add a
you
little
you, you
extra.
just put just a little sprinkle, not a whole lot. But you
Yeah,
also got to look at what we used to eat and um, what people grew up on eating all them
right.
chitlins and all that stuff. That's not good.
That's years and
I know
years
it.
of
That's not good. Pig feed and all that. That's not good.
oh man.
Trotters, as
Well,
somebody call them, but all that type of eating like that. That's not good. You know, um, I like oxtails, but they have to be seasoned properly.
yeah. And
Yeah.
but I mean, I think with the holidays coming up, well, for me, I'm gonna work on it too.
Work on just work on it a little bit. Just have I may have a little mac and cheese, but it's only like if you look at the picture, the average size spoon in there, I may have half of that, and then I may just take one bite out the mac and cheese, even though it's good, because I know it's not good for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll
Of
make my blood
course,
sugar go up,
the
and I
cheese.
love dressing.
Is it the cheese with
It's
the
the
mac and cheese?
macaroni. It's the
Oh yep,
macaroni.
yep,
Yeah,
yep. The bread
yeah.
and the dressing is all bread.
The dressing, I just that's why I had to get my shot because I'm a dressing connoisseur.
All right. Any questions, everybody? And again, we appreciate you coming on, letting us
Okay.
know about your diabetes, your life in the military. We really appreciate your service and all that you do.
I'm gonna leave you all with the pearl. Um, Take care of yourself, manage your ailments as best you can. If we don't take care of ourselves and we check out, we don't get to go back and ask God, can we go back? Because you can't come back. So take care of yourself. And whatever decisions you make, regardless of if it's lifestyle decisions or your eating habits that may become detrimental, your decisions affect everyone around you. Always remember that.
Y'all heard it here first and you heard it best. Rewind that part.
Okay.
But again, thank you for being on and everybody that came on. Go back and watch if you have any questions, even after. You can always drop them down in the chat also. So
Okay. And thank you all for having me this evening. And nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too, and everybody else that was paying attention and watching.
Okay.